Let's talk about how to make a coil pot. A coil pot is a small bowl or cup that is created using clay coils stacked on top of each other. You can make a coil pot using kiln clay or air dry clay. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using Model Magic air dry clay. I love Model Magic because it's lightweight, no mess, and it dries in about 3 days. To start, I'm going to knead the clay by stretching and folding it a few times in my hands to soften it up a little bit more and make it easier to stretch and form. Now, I'm going to pull the clay into 2 pieces. One piece is slightly bigger than the other. I'm going to use the big piece to make my coils. And now I'm using a small piece to make the base of my coil pot. I'm starting with the base first. The base is just going to be a simple small slab. My goal is to create a small cookie shape or small pancake shape. I'm rolling a ball first and then using my palm to press down the clay. Then I'll pick it up and rotate it and push down again. Picking it up and turning it as I'm pressing will help all of my edges stay even. Next, I'm going to start my coils. I'm going to pull smaller pieces off of my big chunk of clay to make my coils. As I'm pulling my pieces off, I'm trying to make sure they are all roughly the same size so that my coils will be mostly the same size and the same thickness. A coil is a thin, rope-like piece of clay that you roll by hand. To roll a coil, start by rolling the clay back and forth in your palms to make a small, thin sausage shape, and then place it on the table to finish rolling. A well-rolled coil will be the same thickness the whole way down the line. Alright, here is my first finished coil. I'm going to start placing the coil on top of the edge of my base and wrap it around, overlapping the coil on top of itself. As I wrap it, I'm gently tapping the top with my other hand to make sure that the clay sticks to itself. Just a quick heads up, Model Magic loves to stick to itself, so once you have your coil on the base, it's a little bit tough to get it back off. Here's a helpful tip. As you roll your coil, be sure to start in the middle of the coil and move your fingers outward as you're rolling. If your fingers stay in the center of the coil, the middle will end up being too thin in the center and it's going to come apart. If you're new to rolling coils, it might take a few times to practice, but you'll get there. The more you practice it, the more you'll start to get a feel for the process and the easier it will get. Now I'm just going to keep rolling my coils and attaching them where my last coil left off. I'm going to continue this process of stacking the coils on top of each other, gently patting to make sure they are attached, and then repeat. Here's a quick clip of what not to do. Notice how my fingers are staying right in the middle, and as I'm rolling, that center part is getting thinner and thinner and it falls apart. Just be mindful to start in the middle, but move your fingers outward toward the ends of the coils as you're rolling. Here I have my last 2 coils left, and I'm going to try a fancy twisted coil to make an interesting decoration around the top edge of my pot. I'm rolling 2 coils that are the same thickness and same length and placing them next to each other. Then I'm going to twist them so that they wrap around each other in a twist. I'm working in small sections as I'm twisting and taking it nice and slow, working my way through the coil. Ooh, I really like how that turned out. Okay, so now I'm going to finish up by adding my fancy coil on top of the edge of my coil pot and gently patting as I place it along the edge. Now I'm going to check all my other coils one last time and gently pat and squeeze all around to make sure that they are all attached. Model Magic takes about 24 hours to start to harden, 48 hours to be dry to the touch, and 72 hours to be fully dry. So wait about 3 days or more before you start painting or coloring your creation. Have fun!